Apiotics makes the IoT easy for Rails developers. Here's how. In an ideal world, we'd like to be able to create a Rails application to control, for example, a smart thermostat, and open up our Rails console, select a thermostat using our thermostat model, use that thermostat's furnace attribute to set the furnace to on, and then once we save the thermostat instance, have that be reflected in our device. Apiotics makes doing this easy, and in this video, we'll show you how. A hive is at the foundation of every IoT application you build with Apiotics. The hive organizes IoT devices and the Rails applications that control them in order to provide authentication, security, as well as a holistic view of all the different components of your application. A hive has one or more workers, or kinds, of IoT device. However many workers you have, the hive keeps them all organized for you. Each worker has one or more drivers. A driver typically controls a peripheral connected to your IoT device. These peripherals are sensors or actuators that interact with something in the physical world. Each driver, in turn, has one or more interfaces. These interfaces are what your application will use to interact with these drivers. These interfaces are important not only because your application interacts with them, but also because they're typed, meaning that each interface has as a type an integer or boolean or string or other type of the sort that you'd see defining columns in a database. Now that we've defined hives, workers, drivers, and interfaces, we can see how these map to your Rails application. The hive provides API keys that you can use with the Apiotics gem to authenticate your web application to the Apiotics infrastructure and connect to your IoT devices. Each worker in your hive gets a module in your Rails application, and that module contains the models that correspond to the drivers in your hive. In turn, each model has attributes that correspond to the interfaces for each driver. The models in your worker module are then associated with one another using Rails has one belongs to logic. With this framework in place, we can then select a thermostat from our thermostat model in the thermostat module, turn its state to on, and then save it. At this point, you might ask, okay, but how does this connect to my IoT devices such that the state of my database and the devices are synced? How do I create this infrastructure in my Rails app easily? And how do I install the right software on my IoT devices in the first place? This is what Apiotics makes easy. The Apiotics gem lets you easily create all the infrastructure we've just discussed using its built-in generators, contains a communication server to keep your database and your IoT devices synced, and also contains rake tasks that lets you easily install the right software onto your IoT devices depending upon what kind of worker you want them to be. So what are you waiting for? Get started building great IoT applications today. Check out our documentation to read more, and check out the Workers section of the Apiotics portal to see IoT hardware that can help you get started right away.